It's time for another edition of The Music Makers with host Fitz Randolph. Today's guest, Edwin Williams. Well, YouTube music lovers, here's another edition of The Music Makers. And today we're very fortunate to have Edwin Williams with us, a classical jazz musician. He's had a huge long run at Dantes Down the Hatch, which is a must-see place for anybody who comes to Atlanta. Everybody's got to go to Dantes. So happy to have him on the show today. Well, thank you so much for coming. And one of the things I would like to know is how did you get into music? And what's your first memory of being interested in music?
Well, my first memory is so far back I almost can't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
I started playing very young, and I don't remember really not playing. You know, it's been that long.
Right.
So,
right.
But my father is the one that introduced me to music. You put it to me like this, well, I need a bass player. And
really? Wow.
So before that I was doing drums in school and everything, but other than that, not only did he need a bass player, I found out my instructor in school needed a bass player also. So wow. Both of them basically got me started.
So your father was a professional musician? Your father needed a bass player?
Well, simply because he saw his group expanding, and they were growing, and they needed other musicians to kind of work outside of the ones they already had. A lot of the guys that was with him, they either went on to do other things or left to go into other groups or whatever. But he realized that I had talent, and so he basically started me then.
What kind of music were you playing then?
Well, what he was doing at the time was gospel music, and it was, I guess you could say, traditional gospel music. Gospel has changed so much since then.
Yeah.
Until now, it's they call it contemporary gospel, and then you have.
It must be gospel rock.
Just about in every field of music, there's a gospel feel for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I play anytime I get a chance to. I actually did 5 seasons with the Atlanta Symphony during their gospel concerts, Christmas concerts.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
I'll say.
Yeah.
So, so you started out in 2 bands, or at least the high school band and another
my
band.
father's band. Yes.
Did you travel? Was there any road work? Yeah.
Yes. That's probably what really gave me the feel for being a musician and having the freedom that a lot of musicians have was to travel. I've traveled ever since I was about 11.
Wow.
And it just became a part of me.
A way of life. It was your way of life.
It was the way of life. And even before I even got out of high school, I said, music is what I'm going to do. I mean, there was no other thing that interests me as much, and the music took over. I mean, it basically possessed me.
Yeah. Was there a vocal group with this band, or did you just, was it instrumental? We had to have singers too.
Yeah, it started out vocal, and when I, for instance, was working with my school instructors, it became more instrumental. So I kind of always had a balance of both. So that's another reason why I was so flexible in what I was doing. If it was gospel, I could do gospel music. It didn't matter what the vocalist situation was.
Of course.
And then if it was instrumental, I could work with any instrumental.
Yeah.
I was born in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I came to Atlanta from Wilmington, but I wasn't living here.
Okay.
I was basically passing through on a gig.
Yeah. I think Dantes was here.
Yeah.
When did they start?
Yeah, they started in '69.
69. Okay, well then they started when I started. And you played only in Buckhead, or did you play? He had an underground place. Did that burned, or
no?
What happened?
The underground. I only got to play in the underground in 1994. That's when I started. And
oh, you started down at underground
in 1994.
Yeah.
But there was a group there before that started from the beginning. The Paul Mitchell Trio.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And by the time Paul had moved into Buckhead, I was working at the underground. You know, so it's kind of I guess you could call it a blessing in a way, because we started the underground. They ended up closing the underground in 1999.
Right.
And we went up to Buckhead. It was about 6 months, because I ended up playing with Paul just before he died. And it's been kind of the seat I've been in ever since, you know, now with the trio that's there.
Right.
So therefore we are tight, because we pretty much know exactly what everybody's going to do.
Oh yeah.
And that gives you that solid sense, a foundation. You know, it also helps your group mature faster.
Right.
John Robertson Trio. That's who basically took over Paul's position. And there was John Robertson was the piano player. Terry Smith was the drummer. And of course myself, I've been playing bass. And we've been there now ever since 99, 2000.
So 17
Well,
years.
You know, a lot of people call us fixtures over there at the place.
Right.
You know, because we were there for a while.
Yeah.
We play at 7 to 11 during the weekdays, and on Sundays it's 6 to 10.
Are you writing music constantly for yourself?
Every day.
Really?
I'm always doing something.
What's your regimen? What do you get up and sit down on a piano, or
Well,
how do you write your music?
Well, I started doing songs, my own stuff, about 4 years ago. Seriously, because I've been playing with other people so long, it makes you lazy about writing your own thing.
Well,
so I ended up deciding, okay, it's my turn.
Right.
So I started writing stuff, and I'm writing not in just one genre. It's I'm doing jazz.
Yeah.
I'm also doing smooth jazz. And I'm doing rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about doing some gospel stuff,
Oh yeah,
Also,
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
And I'm even thinking about doing some spoken word poetry type stuff with a spoken word artist and stuff like that. So I'm constantly thinking of stuff.
And now you have just developed a marvelous recording studio, and you're doing great work there. Tell me about your studio and what you're going to do there.
Well, I decided to build a studio simply because I wanted to record my stuff, number one. And that was the purpose. But the other purpose was I wanted it fully functional. I didn't want a MIDI suite, which is basically a keyboard and a computer. I wanted you to have a drummer. I wanted you to have all live instruments.
Right.
Because that's what I was used to.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I was going to build a studio, in which I did, I put all that first. And that way I wouldn't have to come back later and say, well, if I
try to make it real. First, I'll say thank you so much, Edwin, for coming on today, and I hope you'll come back again. There's so much to talk about. Remember, everybody, keep listening to music. The Music Makers is created, directed, and produced by Fitz Rendall. Thanks for watching.